And now that the dust has settled on the election, Labor is setting to legislating its 43% emissions reduction target by 2030. But there's just one problem. For the Greens, the world is never enough. Yes, in flashes of the days of Bob Brown, the Labor target could be shot down if the Greens and the Tiffany Teals don't get on board. Oh, the irony. Anyway, I think we've been there before, but to talk us through it now, we're joined by National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today, and looks like you're out on the road.
Well, I'm here really in my home area down here at Emu Park, at the Emu Park Markets. Come and say good day if you're in the town. It's a beautiful day in central Queensland.
Fantastic. Looks like a great day up there. Looks beautiful weather. Tell us about the Tiffany Teals and the Greens looking to blow up the 43% emissions target.
Well, look, this will be very revealing about the new Labor government. They've taken the longest possible time to bring Parliament back after the election. If they didn't bring it back next week, they wouldn't be constitutional. The reason they're taking so long, of course, is they don't really have a plan. They don't really have an agenda, this new government, so they have very little legislation. The only bit of legislation we've heard about that we're going to be debating next week is to enshrine a 43% reduction in carbon emissions by 2030. So while people can't pay their bills now, while interest rates are going up now, the issue that the Labor Party are going to be bringing to the National Parliament is emission reduction targets in 2030, and they're going to have to make a choice. They're going to have to make a choice because the Labor Party have no mandate. They only got a third of the vote. They got lower primary vote than the Liberal and National parties. That means in the Senate there are 76 senators, only 26 are Labor senators. There are another 50 non-Labor senators, so there's almost double the number of non-Labor senators than there are Labor senators. The Labor Party are going to have to show us in a week or so time, are they a Green Labor government or not? Are they going to deal with these Teals and the Green senators that they need to get support for this 2030 legislation? And if they do that, of course, they're going to shut down coal and gas projects, they're going to put people's jobs at risk, and most importantly, right now in the world, Adam Bandt has outed himself as a stooge of Russia because he wants to stop coal and gas projects in Australia, but not anywhere else, just in Australia. That is going to play right into the hands of Vladimir Putin. That's exactly, there's a lot of allegations going around that the Greens around the world are funded by Russia. Maybe they just are, or Adam Bandt's at least acting like that.
Well, maybe one day we can get Adam Bandt on the show to talk to that question. It'd be fascinating to ask him here on Outsiders. So, Adam Bandt, the invite is open. Anytime you want to come on Outsiders, come and join us here in the studio. Rita.
Well, what do you think Labor's going to do here? I mean, there's forces within Labor who want them to be even more ambitious with their emission cuts. So isn't this a perfect opportunity for them to say, well, this is what we have to do, this is what the Senate demands, and their like-minded Teals and Greens will come up with an even more crippling figure?
You're absolutely right, Rita. There is going to be a massive blue in the Labor Party in the next few weeks because they do have a wing of their party, the Lean Group, so to speak, the Labor Environmental Action Network group that want to take away gas barbecues. I'm not making that up. That's their policy. It's a literal barbecue stopper from the Lean within Labor. That Lean Group. They want to go to even more renewable energy. They want to shut down coal and gas projects just like the Greens, and so this is their opportunity. They'll be pushing within the Labor Party, saying, "See, to get our agenda through, we're going to have to deal with the Greens." They're going to try and use the Greens as a Trojan horse to get their every dream fulfilled in our nation's parliament. So, as I say, it's a choice for Anthony Albanese. He's more close to those leans. He's a left-wing Labor leader. Let's just see how he turns out in the next few weeks.
Daisy.
Now, on the subject of these silly extreme targets put forward by the Greens and the Teals, there's actually been some new costings for nuclear power that have come out. New research that has found when transmission costs, etc., are considered, the cost of building nuclear power stations is actually cheaper and more efficient than wind and solar. When is Labor going to come out and admit that in order to achieve any kind of radical target, they're going to have to face the fact that nuclear is the way to go?
Well, I don't think they will under this Prime Minister, unfortunately, Daisy. He's been steadfast against any consideration of nuclear. I do think people are shifting on this, that there is a great desire out there to see us have reliable electricity. Europe is turning massively towards nuclear power. The new Japanese Prime Minister is saying he's going to reopen their nuclear power plants in response to the energy crisis around the world. We've got to get with the times here, but I don't have a lot of hope from the Labor Party. There are those figures, and there are other figures from the CSIRO this week saying nuclear is too expensive. But I just think we've got to stop with these spreadsheet stop listening to these spreadsheet superheroes, self-appointed spreadsheet superheroes, who spend their time in a computer program. Say, guys, close the laptop and open your window, go out the door and see what's happening in the real world. In the real world, countries that have turned to renewable energy too much and too fast are struggling to keep their lights on. They're having to pay factories to shut down just to let people keep their houses warm. It's not working. It's not, whatever you're doing is not working. It's time to change. I think we should be building coal-fired power stations ASAP because they're quicker and easier than a nuclear power station. But yes, long term, we absolutely should be considering nuclear, given we've got the greatest and best uranium reserves in the world. Let's use them for Australians.
Matt Canavan, thanks so much for breaking it all down for us. Enjoy the rest of the day, enjoy the markets, and if you're nearby, go on and say hi to Matt after the show.